the absolute best. You know me, I hate to use the words fans, but I have the best community, I would like to say. Because I check out my mailbox today, and it's from the Danish Postal Service going, hey, we have a package for you that you need to pay for, so we can, you know, like, I think it got caught in the, what do you call it, like toll?
Customs?
Yeah, customs, thank you. It got caught in customs, and you need to pay a little fee for us to check out the package.
Right.
It's a little wild because hey, pink cracked cacti. Thank you for following.
Buddy.
It's I don't know if you got this in America, but in Denmark, if someone like if your package gets picked up by customs, they'll just like pick a random one, and then you have to pay for them to do that. Oof. Even if you don't want them to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a thing in America, but I know like my friends in the UK have to deal with that shit.
Yeah. So I got that, and I actually have here the actual like thing, and it just says so it has to give a
description of what's inside it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna like show who it's from or anything because I think they want to like remain anonymous. But I know who it is, and we've actually talked about having them on the podcast. But the contents is cookies boxed. So Aww. From that, I already think that you also know who it is.
Oh.
Because they've talked at length about wanting to send me more cookies. Because they were the people. They were the ones who sent me the Girl Scout cookies way back when, if you remember.
I think I know who you're talking about. That's so fucking wholesome.
Yeah. They're fucking great.
We got to get them on the show at some point. Just to have a conversation with them about this whole thing is gonna just make my heart melt.
Well, like the thing is that like I've already been in talks with them because like they're pretty, I won't say prominent, but like they have a solid foothold within the furry community. And so I was like, how would you feel about coming on the podcast and just talk about all the fucking weirdos that you had to deal with commissions and you're coming and everything, and she was just like, oh fucking yeah, I'm in. So we might have her on the podcast because I think that would be fucking hilarious.
I think it's kind of amazing because again, like you're in this situation. Mostly because you made that one concession video where you hate anything that has to do with furries, and look at you 10 years later, your community's fucking full of them.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like I spent almost the entirety of season 1 of the Webcast Relief just donking on furries, and even now I every now and again just take a little pot shot at them, and they're like, yeah, we're fucking freaks.
It's just, I think it's like that like weird like rapport you got where it's like back then you meant it a lot, but now because like everyone's cool with each other, it's like, oh yeah, no, we get you, it's fine, we love you, bro, and we do. Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, bro, so many. It's like they won you over with kindness.
Yeah, we had this one. Like you've been in the Wild West talk on the Discord before. Like it is such a common practice just to go fucking furries that people are just going, yeah, we're fucked.
Okay. So, after going back and forth talking about how awesome this person is, let's move a little forward because we got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, holy shit.
So, first off, if you guys don't know, I am CloudyDaze, but I am a mod on Riiser server, and y'all should know who Riiser is. If you don't, why don't you introduce yourself?
Because I'm the host of the Webcast Relief on YouTube. We did not have a podcast last week.
No, we did not. But why didn't we, my friend?
And that is because I'm gonna go into the whole fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
So sit back and relax. It's not a long one, but it's one that, you know, I feel it only really like has that oomph if you truly understand like what went into it. So 5 or so years ago, I quit my job at nondescript video game retailer. And I'm gonna get into why if we're calling it that. I think most of you already know which one it is, but for legal purposes, that's what I'm calling it. Yeah. And I was like, for the most part, I was actually happy about the job, but there was certain steady things about that job that fucking just wore me down to the point where I had anxiety, stress, and depression and suicidal thoughts. Yeah. So it worked me to the bone, and eventually I just decided, you know, maybe it's either I kill myself or I figure something else out. And my stepmom, who is a tutor at the university I studied at, came and gave me a flyer, being like, after she'd seen some of the art that I traced in my youth, and she was like, hey, you're pretty good with like creativity, and you have this like, I've seen your show, which is fucking wild to me that she's actually seen my show, but she was like, you have a thing with like, you understand design and creativity, and understand like why this thing works and why it doesn't work. So would you be interested in studying graphic design, graphic design technology? And I was like, sure. And at that point in time, I just said, you know, yes, just, you know, to be kind, because she offered it and she came with a flyer and everything, so it just felt awkward being like, nah, it's not for me. So I just said sure. But then, like, the more I mulled over it, I was like, you know what, it's either like death or it's giving this a go. So I applied for like to get in, and and they had like a process of like a month or two, and then they like got back to me being like, okay, you're in the, like, you passed the first step, now we are gonna send you a test, and if you pass that, then you're in. And the thing there was that we had to design a flyer, but we only had 48 hours to do it. Now at the time, all of my employees were sick, except for one whose dad was in the hospital. So I had to just stand alone in the store from when we, you know, opened to when we shut down. Meaning I did not have the fucking time to make this flyer. So I borrowed a friend's laptop, and then like while I was servicing customers, I was designing this flyer in the store. And then, you know, I sent it in and thought nothing of it, and then I got an answer back being like, hey, you're in, but you're in a month. And what that again, I don't know, I think this is probably like one of the most used sentences in this in this podcast, being that I don't know if this is a thing you have in Denmark, but in in America, but in Denmark we have a thing where depending on how long you work a certain job, you have to work for at least another month, like just a resignation period, basically.
We kind of call it a 2 weeks notice in America, but even then that's kind of really informal, but just giving you the context. But go on.
Yeah, but here it's like you have to work that month, and so I have to like, again, my school thing starts in a month, so I had like 1 or 2 days to hand in my resignation, and so I didn't have the fucking luxury of just going, okay, maybe sit on it and think about it. No, do it now or do it never. And so I handed in the resignation. And so the entire end goal was to end up having a job where, you know, I could do creative stuff and like not stress every time that I went to work, and be happy about it. Like, do something I'm passionate about for work. And so the next 5 years, and so we moved to a different city, me and my, at the time, girlfriend. and that meant I had to move away from all my friends. I was living in basically a penthouse apartment. I was like living off of steak every night and stuff. Like I was sitting fucking pretty, like more so than most people in my age group, because I had the manager position, and with the manager position came manager money. I had to give all that up. My family lived in that city, gave that up, and eventually my girlfriend and I broke up, so lost that as well. So at some point I only really had like a select few friends and the Webcast Relief, and it was only because of the Webcast Relief that I was even like able to pursue this like education, because I could only really make rent thanks to the money that I got from Patreon. All that to say is that like I then spent the next 5 years just fucking hustling, like just like working 3 jobs, doing this education, like fucking pursuing all the avenues for work and what have you. And then last Wednesday, I finally got to talk with the place that I've been interning at for like the past 2-3 weeks. And they said that they wanted to keep me as a full-time video media graphic designer and content specialist, and I signed the contract, and so now I am full-time employed graphic designer basically. So all those 5 years led up to this, and so we finally crossed the finish line, and I can't fucking believe it. Like I'm still waiting for like the other shoe to drop and be like, psych, bitch.
Like we have a joke in the server basically saying, okay, when are you guys gonna summon Satan? When's the suicide pact gonna happen?
Yeah,
when are you guys summoning Cthulhu? It's like I know Riiser talked about it, like, and I know I'm interrupting him, I'm sorry, but like I want to stress from like the outside perspective. I've seen this man like struggle and hustle for like the past 5 years, and he had to go through some shit. You've gotten like your work like in Denmark like picked up by like was it like a space company or like the space program in like fucking Denmark?
No, it's called Taraxis. It is a part of NASA, so it is American. It was actually a viewer, Geo. He's also big in the Dreamkeepers community, who was like, "Hey, I work with NASA. Would you like to design a logo?" Apparently they also had like a lot of other people, but they went with mine.
That's really humbling, man.
It's fucking crazy. Thank you, man.
But yeah, no, like you deserve to like live it up, because like this is a W worth celebrating.
Oh yeah, it's fucking crazy. I can't believe it. But you know. I'm sure at one, like my friend Alice keeps telling me that at one point I'm just gonna wake up and then just like, what the fuck, like just fucking be like finally realizing what has actually happened.
Well, regardless, like seriously, just take the minute and absorb, because you deserved it, man.
Thank you. There's another reason why I wanted to do the whole lead-in, because we're going to be talking very much about like company politics and stuff like that, which was one of the most like deciding factors for me within this company for why I was having like a tough time. So yeah, but yeah, so that's why we didn't have a podcast last week, was because I decided I wanted to get fucking drunk. To celebrate like that I finally got a full-time job, and also because the day prior I got installed with the first dose of 5G. I got vaccinated, and I could feel it. So yeah.
Honestly, that's a feeling I know you just deserve to like bask in. Because that's the same way I felt when I finally paid off like my student debt.
Yeah.
Because that shit came off. Like, you struggled for a very long time. I struggled for a very long time too. But like, I got it over with in like a single shot. Because like I worked in unlimited overtime while I had COVID So I think if I didn't have the willpower to live, I would have actually died on I was on like an actual Japanese death march is the way I'd like to describe it.
A death march?
It's actually a term in Japan where like you're working so many hours in the office and you're working continuously until the project gets done. It's either
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's either you get finished, it's either the project get finished or you are. And like there are like cases of people like dying at their computer desks. Although in my case it wasn't more of exhaustion, it was more like I'm doing this while I got COVID, so oof.
Oh yeah, you got hit with the Rona.
I got hit. I was wearing the crown. I was one of the first ones to wear the crown, baby.
You did it.
But like, oh, it's funny. I think that also measures up to why the vaccinations didn't actually affect me so much, because like my body was already used to it, so I already kicked the shit out of the vaccine. But like at the same time, it's like when you actually turn in that check and you actually go in and just realize, hey, this goal you've been working for so long is done. Yeah. You're like, at first you're like, now what? And it takes a while to sink in, and it's like, oh my god, I'm fucking done. And it worked out good. It's like euphoria, man.
I like that whole part about like what now. Like I had to talk with Alice about like so what now? Because like my goal for the past like 5 years has just been, you know, like get a full-time job in this field, get a full-time job in this field. But now that I got it, it's like, where do I go from here? And she just said, what you do now is that you fucking enjoy it.
That's why we hustle, man. We need to enjoy where we get to.
Yeah, but I remember when you like you made like in very typical you fashion, you made like the most like nonchalant thing in the fucking Discord, going, oh yeah, by the way, I paid off my student debt, and then you like linked an audio file, and we just fucking lost a goddamn mind because we knew how insane that was.
Oh god, it's technically not legal to like record your conversations, but like I think I don't have it anymore. But it's like it's just hilarious to be like, to have the phone number and you have them say, okay, thank you for paying off all your debt. You're now debt free, and it's just,
I'm a little surprised at how like nonchalant they are, because like surely this is a massive thing for people when they paid off the student debt.
I feel like it's one of those things where like it happens as much, probably not as frequently nowadays, but it's like people like 20, 30 years ago did not have the amount of debt that we do now. So like it's one of those things where like you had the luxury to like pay off your debt slowly, and so I'm probably paying it off the same time as some like old man in his 40s who was paying like the bare minimum for like 20 years.
That is fun. That makes me uncomfortable to think about.
Welcome to America! I wanna fucking die. But like we're not going to talk about that right now.
No,
because we have Blizzard to talk about. Before that, something I wanted to get to, because last week we were so engrossed in our conversation, we did do our questions.
The week before that.
The week before that, yes. Thank you. we haven't done questions in 3 weeks, if you think about it.
Yeah. So time to fix that.
So we're going to just answer a couple now. We'll probably answer a couple at the end. And if you have any questions to send us during the podcast, it could be of any topic you'd like, within reason. Send it to webcastrelief@gmail.com. That's
webcastrelief@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you might have your email read out on the air like this one.
And hopefully we'll do a much better job of remembering too.
Yeah.
But like So we'll just answer like a quick run now and then go to like a more in-depth one later. First one sent by Yeriko from the Webcast Relief server. Question: pineapple on pizza? Yes or no, Jerry?
Well, I don't like it. Like I've tried it, and it's like it's not for me. I feel for me, a pizza is all about being savory, and I feel the pineapple is a little too sweet and almost a little sour. But I can absolutely understand why people like it. It's just not for me.
Honestly, I'm a staunch yes. So if y'all want to call me like heathens, go ahead. I do not care. I'm enjoying it. Like it's honestly not that bad because
No.
I always thought it was like all right. I never thought anything weird. I was more weirded out by onions on pizza and olives than I was about like pineapple.
I can see that.
Although I think that's just mostly because I don't like onions or pineapple, or I didn't, but now I do.
I used to work at a restaurant, and they have like the special pizza, and it is the fucking best. It's with pulled pork on top, and then they replace and like so it's pulled pork, it's barbecue sauce, and then instead of like the like normal cheese, they put cheddar cheese on top. It is unfathomable how good that pizza is.
That is the most southern thing I've ever heard of. I love it.
It is so fucking good.
I might try it. Alright, so quick question, yeah. Pineapple, no, but whatever for Riiser, and yes for me.
Yeah.
So, here's another question by Moron. I don't know if I've asked this before somewhere, but Moron asks, God bless him, how do I get people interested in one's character / backstory? Like, there's a lot of information about writing interesting characters and stories, but I would like to know how to create actual interest for characters and stories. Spread the word, so to say, or get people to actively look into more info about a character / story. Anywho, support the Webcast Relief Patreon at Webcast, and he sends the link to me. So I guess like his question boils down to like, how do you improve your visibility or like interest in a character? Because you can always write a perfectly amazing backstory, but that doesn't really do anything if no one's interested in it.
Yeah. I think I brought it up in a video before, but like my opinion, like it stems a lot from stuff such as Bleach, for example. I think Bleach did it really well because what they would do is that they would show off like the immediate first quirk of a character. Like I don't recall what his name is. He's the dude who has like the Zanpakuto that becomes like a bunch of small little like a blade that spreads out like a peacock. No, not peacock. He has like the thing with his eye, I think.
Yumachika?
Yeah, probably. But his entire thing is just about beauty, and the very first thing that you hear from that dude is, "Oh, you're not beautiful enough, Mr. Bald guy that he hangs out with." It like, and so immediately you know that this guy is about this thing, and then as you like learn more about him, you find out more and more about like the details about his character. But you've already set the like a foothold for what to expect from him, which is that he cares about beauty. And as a contrast, you have the bald guy, whose name I don't recall, which I probably should. At first, like what you hear about, like what you get to know about him is just that he's pretty like he's kind of like the straight man to a point, to the guy about the beauty. So he's a little harder to get into, but you still have like an in, because these two are like you have the straight man and you have the foil. So these two kind of like coexist, and so you kind of learn about him through the guy with the beauty. So I feel that the best way to get interested in a character is give them something to catch on to very quick, something very, very simple. This guy is loud, this guy is an idiot, this guy is like he always wants to fight, this guy falls asleep all the time. Read Bleach or Eyeshield 21. Both of these comic does a fantastic job in, hey, this guy has this thing, and then they slowly add blocks onto it. the thing that people mostly just need when they get introduced to characters is figuring out what to expect from them, and then if you can manage to put that into someone, then you got your in, and then like I feel people are more inclined to be interested.
Honestly, that's a lot closer to what I was going to say as well, because to put into blunt shorthand, don't be afraid to like use tropes, because essentially what they are is just narrative shorthand to communicate like what someone is. Like it's okay to put somebody in like an archetype, because that's like the hook to drag someone in. If you have a bunch of different hooks lying around, you're like bound to get somebody like interested.
Yeah.
Don't like it's better to have like a bunch of hooks lying around than to try to lead a character onto one specific hook. I know Moron does this, plays D&D, so like this is a good example. Like when you're trying to create an adventure, you don't want it to be too on rails. You want like someone to have like the freedom to like explore what they want. I know in things like stories, you can't like, go see what's over there that mountain, but you want them to be like invested in who they want to be invested. You can't make a universal character that's gonna like appeal to fucking everybody, because that's just impossible. But what you can do is like just hit as many niches as you can to make them interested, and then you flesh them out over the course of the story. You can have somebody be a total fucking background character and then be super relevant at the end and super loved. Also, just to bring it up, the beauty guy is Yumichika, and the bald guy's name is Ikaku.
Ikaku, yeah. I remember falling in love with Ikaku when I learned more about him, but at first I was just like, oh, he's bald.
He's bald. He's bald, and he likes strength, and his fucking Bankai.
Yeah, but the whole strength thing wasn't introduced until he actually like started flaunting his Bankai around.
This is true, and it was just. See, like, a lot of things about Bleach are, like, kind of hazy, even though, because, like, I kind of, like, binge read through it when I went to visit my friend in the UK. And I'm excited, because, like, apparently they're getting a new chapter, a new special chapter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they announced it, they shared it in the Weeb house, and I'm like, bro, I'm excited, because I actually have context for everybody now. This is great. I can be excited with everyone. It feels good.
I wanna like kind of walk it a little back a little bit, because like the whole thing about like Ikaku's interest in strength was first introduced during his Bankai. That's where I picked up on it. I'm just saying that because people who care about anime are fucking insane. So if I'm wrong about this, and it's like mentioned in like a shorthand comment or something before that, I'm gonna be fucking crucified. So I'm just gonna say that's where I picked up on it.
So I'm gonna say this to like as part of answering Moron's question. Once you have somebody hooked, you can be forgiven for making a lot of writing mistakes, because people love that shit. They are willing. There's like with suspension of disbelief, that shit gets turned up super fucking high when they have a favorite character.
Yeah.
Like you have people make entire analysis videos like talking about like character drives and character themes, when like I think like one of the most overanalyzed characters is oh, I love this character. He's like the crazy mad scientist guy. Why am I forgetting his name when I remembered fucking Yumichika?
He's the dude that Ishida fights.
Yeah. Perfect. God, I remember everything but his name. Why are all the names so fucking weird in Bleach? I can't speak Japanese.
I'm gonna Google it. Just keep.
But anyway, like no, not Orihime. But anyway, like point of this guy, he's at first when he's first introduced, you think of him and he's like, oh, he's a big sadistic bad guy. He's gonna get his ass kicked in all because like Ishida's trying to fight him. He's a guy who's like been like experimenting on Ishida's family because he studies Quincy's, and then it's like after his first loss, he's slow like. you can tell he's still a fucking sociopath, but he's on our side. And you get to see, like, the way he ticks. He's like, sadistic completely, but it's also for that pursuit of, like, always constantly improving. Like, it's
Mayuri.
Mayuri! Oh, Mayuri, thank you. Fucking... God, that shit was bothering me.
Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, not perfect is good guy. Yeah, that's him. Fucking Mayuri. Yeah, like people love him because they love his fight against Zalaporo. Why do I remember Zalaporo and not Mayuri? That nigga's name, like, no sucking. Oh, I sorry, I'm a ghetto back there. But like, God, like, he has like some of the weirdest, most creative fights in the series, just because of all the things he does and all like the weird "No, you've activated my trap card, bitch" moments he has, and like. You can do all that, you have all this intrigue, and you have this, like, weird redemption arc for Mayuri during this whole thing. And I'm like, if you can... And, like, if you go back, it's probably not the best written, because, like, at the beginning, he is just nothing but, like, a sadist. But, like, as it goes on...
Evil scientist supervillain guy.
Yeah. There's, like, a scene in, like, the final arc where Mayuri is talking to Yamamoto, and, like, Yamamoto's trying to pin the whole blame on him. And you actually see Mayuri stand up to him. Like, Mayuri's not like a guy who keeps his head down, but like, because all he cares about is science, he doesn't care about things. But like, to see him like sober up and be like, Yamamoto, sit the fuck down. This shit ain't my fault. I tried to warn you like a bunch of fucking times, and it was your head ass who decided not to listen to me. And to hear that from Mayuri is like a big, because you wouldn't expect it. And it's
your
like
head ass.
Your head ass. But like, seriously, it's so fucking fascinating where like you can take a flat character or like someone who's perceived as flat. It's like nothing but like, oh, he's just a big day of the week bad guy who's gonna get his ass beat. But like then you just keep adding more and more and more onto him. Today we learn Cloudy turns ghetto when he's annoyed.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so, essentially give people something to catch, like, to grab a hold of, something where they can go, okay, so this is kind of what I can expect from that character, and build from there. You cannot make you can never force people to like a character. But if they follow a character for long enough and they understand that, like, the more and more information you give them, there's a bigger chance that they will be interested in that character. I think that's my short answer. My short answer, because I went off about Mayuri. It's like, don't be afraid to use tropes. When introducing people, use as many shorthands as you can. You can always build up on them later. And I cannot stress enough, fucking read iShield 21.
Yes,
there
please.
Is so much you can learn from that manga. Even if you don't like American football, I don't like American football, but read iShield 21 nonetheless.
It's dead ass.
Also the artist by Murata.
The guy who draws...
Yeah, go on.
No, the guy who draws One Punch Man, for the people who don't know.
Yeah. The only guy in my head whose art is comparable on the level of Miura. Like, he is like fighting Miura, or not anymore, but was fighting Miura as the best manga artist in the world, in my opinion. So yeah, go read that.
Go read that, please. Just
God,
please.
Yeah, I feel like you'll learn a lot from that. But yeah, was that the questions here for the beginning?
Yep.
Okay. So, it is now time to talk about the thing that everyone and their fucking mom has been talking about all, like, since the middle of last week, I think? It's time to talk about Blizzard. Now, it's kind of funny, like, the timing of it all. Because our second episode was about the fucking decline of Blizzard and World of Warcraft. And so we had episode 3, and now we have this one. And so it is fucking wild that one of our first podcasts is about like how Blizzard is just going down, and they're not going down slowly, they're going down hard. And now all of a sudden, it's being reported that California, after investigating the company for more than 2 years, has filed a lawsuit against Blizzard Activision for gross sexual misconduct and sexual harassment and poor work environment. I think that about covers it. Basically, shit's fucked. So, what came out is that, to begin with, it was mostly just, hey, women gets the fucking short end of the stick at Blizzard. The men could like show up hungover or drink while working, play video games, and just delegate every assignment to women. And then like the moment like a pay raise or something was negotiated, those people who were getting drunk or whatever, they would get a raise while the women would get fuck all. There's examples of like a woman who had to write a fucking 1-page long essay as to why she deserved a vacation, whereas a lot of men would just be, hey, I'm taking 4 months of vacation, and HR was just like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So there's definitely been some mistreatment. I read about one this morning where a pregnant woman got lambasted for taking a lot of bathroom breaks. Now I don't know if you know this, Cloudy, but when you're pregnant, you have a thing inside you that is constantly pressing against your bladder.
Yeah. So
of course you have to piss all the time.
Yes, that's how I imagine pregnancy works. Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, like there's just a bunch of shit where it's like, how in the fuck, like, is this company run? The biggest like example is that there was a girl whose private photos got shared around, which allegedly led to her taking her own life. And then afterwards, people were sharing these private photos around even after her death. I think this is the person who went with a colleague to a convention or something, like a job convention, where her colleague had packed a fucking suitcase with butt plugs and lube. So shit's not great. So what happened was that this came out, and immediately there was a lot of thoughts, and some of the thoughts I heard was that, oh, this is just gonna be like Riot, because like Riot, who make League of Legends, also had like a lawsuit filed against them due to sexual misconduct and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the problem there was that there was mostly like the victims in the case who had like, hey, I'm not gonna fucking take this anymore, I'm gonna fucking sue. And then they did, and they got some money, and Riot got fined, and on to the next chapter. Like nothing was really done, but it was very much like a slap on the wrist and then move on with their lives. Yeah. Which is not great. But comparing that to what's going on at Blizzard is like comparing common like minor theft to a murder, because with Riot, it was like I said, it was the victims themselves who filed a lawsuit, and it was like, hey, this has happened like within these past couple of months. what we have here is the state suing the company after and they're not suing them till after they have investigated them for 2 years. As a as a fucking state, you do not sue someone without being absolutely certain that there is something here, because that is a lot of money to file such a lawsuit, and you want to make sure that you get that money back.
Yep.
Let's see what's being said. Mike Morhaime, former CEO, tweeted about it, showing respect to the victims, and wrote how important it is to attend HR if stuff like this happens. The day after, a female dev tweeted how she knew she wouldn't get a job in gaming industry again, but Mike was part of it all. This shit is deep. Yeah, so...
Former co-founder.
Yeah, former co-founder. So, there's been a bunch of interesting shit going on as a response to this. First of all, you had, I don't recall his name. He's the dude who came out and quote-unquote apologized at BlizzCon for the whole Blitzchung thing. He was sent out on No, that's not Metzen.
Okay.
Metzen is the dude who looks like a 13-year-old soul caught in like a 50-year-old's body.
Okay.
No, I don't recall. He's like he looks like the inside of other people's assholes. He's not very pretty. Okay. And he wrote an email out being like, "Oh my god, we're shocked to find this shit out. I'm so sorry that yada 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 yada." And then they never really apologized in this email. And then shortly after, one of the PR people, Fran something, who used to work for the Bush administration, apparently, who is a torture apologist, apparently, wrote out a message going, "Nothing is wrong in Blizzard. Y'all are just a bunch of piss baby boo babbies."
I hate it so much.
And it called what was being said as misconstrued, like a twisted version of the truth. Also, the dude who looked like the inside of other people's assholes is apparently called Jay Allen.
Okay.
So those two responses came out, and the people at Blizzard were not too happy about that, meaning that today over 2,500 people in that company are going on strike because basically as a response to the response that Blizzard had on these allegations, being like fuck you people. Now, funny thing is that I was fucking like laughing my ass off when I saw this, because someone was writing like something about this whole thing, and all of a sudden Chris Metzen, who you know I have some beef with, tweeted out, like replied to one of these things, just saying Chris Metzen, and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" And then people remembered, oh right, he's a 13-year-old soul caught in a 50-year-old body. He's a dude who thinks like wearing like earrings is cool and wearing a mohawk is cool, even though he's like old as shit. And he's also a boomer. So what they are assuming happened is that he wanted to search for his own name to see if any allegations has been brought up about him, but he fucked it up and instead wrote it as a comment on a tweet, because apparently it also got deleted later. I haven't actually checked, but that's fucking funny to me.
Don't you love it when like shit happens? Like, okay, to be fair, allegations, quote unquote, like that has to be said. But it's like, don't you hate it when you're like replying to somebody on Twitter and you want to, and like you don't even realize it, and you just try to Google big booty bitches, and then you just have that as a reply.
Yeah, do that all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So it is fucking wild. I saw this morning that World of Warcraft had tweeted out being like, "Hey, yeah, we're not gonna work on this shit because shit's rough, but we apologize. Well, we're sorry that all the women had to go through this. So what we're doing is that we are making a change. Today is the day that we stand together to fight sexual misconduct like this, and we're gonna do so by removing an NPC in the game that was apparently based off of one of the people who did the bad thing. Not, writing anything about like the steps that they were gonna take to make sure that there's no like sexual misconduct in the company ever again or anything. No, just like, hey, we removed this guy and deleted some dialogue in the code. That's what we're gonna do. Safe to say, people weren't too fond of it. Now, unfortunately, there are a bunch of Blizzard fanboys who has been like, no, these people are just crybabies, or oh my god, it's probably just Dave who accidentally rubbed up against Jessica in the print copy room, and there's actually no rape or anything. But again, it cannot be stressed enough. If a state investigates you for 2 years and then decides to sue, they don't do that for the lulz. They do that because they are damn fucking certain that there's something here. Because again, it all comes down to money. That's what it's always gonna do. It's always gonna come down to money. This is not just someone who accidentally rubbed up against someone in the printer room. No, this is a thing. And with how many people, even people who have nothing to gain from any of this, who have just been like witnessing it, have been like, no, I fucking saw this shit. So like, again, it like saying that nothing has happened or these people are just fucking crybabies is like the most tone deaf fucking thing I've ever fucking seen. There's also been a huge kerfuffle going around, like about like whether or not people should stop playing Blizzard products or whatever, because I mean,
I personally stopped because of the Blitzchung thing, and even then I didn't really miss much. But I was never invested in Blizzard to begin with.
I stopped because I developed this thing called taste. No, I'm playing, but to that I will say that, like, did you fucking you to you, just don't give them any more money. If you have like a World of Warcraft subscription or something, personally I would prefer if you didn't like go in and up those subscriber numbers. But honestly, you to you, because at the end of the day, that's not what's gonna like really impact it. The thing that's gonna impact this whole entire thing is that you don't buy another product. You're not gonna, don't buy more subscriptions. Don't buy Overwatch 2 once it comes out. Don't buy Diablo 4 once that comes out. Don't buy Diablo 2 Reforged when that comes out. I talked with a friend about this, that like, I don't think that any legal system can make anything, like can do anything to make it so that Blizzard and Activision is actually going to take notice. I think that if it's entirely up to the legal system, they're going to get like a slap on the wrist, and then we're back to square one. Here's what I talked with Alice about. This is what's going to happen. They're gonna make a statement about how sorry they are. They're gonna enforce some things in the company, like they're gonna hire a few people who are there to make sure that the people are treated with respect, who are ultimately not gonna do fuck all. They're gonna fire some people, and then they're gonna hire some people, and then they're gonna put out a marginalized character in Overwatch to be like, hey, look at us, because that's what they always do. If we want change, the thing that we can do is keep this fire that is currently like started now. Keep that shit going. Remember how fucking angry people have been at EA for their for all their microtransactions and loot boxes and shit. Even though like as time has gone on, they've started removing all that shit. People will still for the longest time call them the worst company in the world. That's the kind of fire we need, but now for Blizzard. If you want to hurt these people, they don't care about people. They care about money. So if you want to hurt them, you go after the money, meaning you don't give them any. Go on.
No. You finish your thought. I was going to bring up something in front of the chat.
No, I was actually going to go into something else about this. So I think like it would actually be a perfect time for you to go in.
Okay, like Brass Boyle mentions, like this is a common problem in the IT industry, and it is like you have anything in an office environment where like it's just like people going to cubicles. There's always going to be like sexual harassment going on because there's always the people up top who feel like they have power over other people, and it's just like, hey, these women, you want your fucking promotion? I've got this. I got this night, this Blizzard branded butt plug. But it's like, it's awful.
I call it the Doomhammer.
The Doomhammer. Oh, it's in this crater. Oh no. Oh no. That's why it's called the Doomhammer. I hate it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's awful, and I hate it, and it's a really like horrendously common problem in like the tech industry or the IT or like video games in general. Like we gotta make sure people like this are actually punished, and if the law doesn't do anything, like as consumers, don't fucking give them money.
Yeah. Again, yeah. It from what I hear, it is indeed like a massive thing in the IT and especially the video game industry. And I'm seeing a lot of people going like, oh, yes, this is fucked up, but it's a big problem with the entire industry. Yes. But right now we're dealing with this, like, and we're making an example out of that. Like, do that.
Like legit, like just because it's a problem in the whole industry doesn't mean we let it slide. It means we fuck this thing even harder, to be frank. Because, like, this is, like, just because this is common, it shouldn't be fucking common to begin with. Like, again, I'm not a Blizzard fan. I'm not a Blizzard hater. I'm like so far out of left field right now. So I'm a little out of my depth. But like as like I say like a lot. But when it comes to things like this, where you have people getting away with just some horrendous bullshit, you can't let them get away with it. You just can't.
No. And it's there where it again. I am predicting that the legal system is gonna do fuck all, or at least they're gonna say that they're gonna do all these different things, but nothing. I don't believe that any of it is gonna stick, because that's what we've seen countless of times before. So it is up to us.
Yeah. Literally, it is the best way to do it. It's just like you don't do anything. That's how you win.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Be Luigi. You win by doing nothing.
Yeah.
But
fucking like, buy Path of Exile or whatever the fuck that game is called instead of Diablo.
Or like our favorite guy who moved over, go play Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, play Final Fantasy 14 or New World instead of World of Warcraft. Go play League of Legends instead of Hero of the Storm. Go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or that Runeterra or whatever the fuck it's called instead of Hearthstone. Go play literally any other strategy game rather than StarCraft or Warcraft. Which reminds me, real quick, one of the funniest things is that I've seen a lot of people being like, hey, we are going to I want to play some games before Blizzard got bad. And and so they were like, okay, I'm gonna play Warcraft 3. And I'm like looking at the dates going, so apparently this whole thing goes like way back. But apparently Warcraft 3 was when shit was still quote unquote good. But I am laughing my entire fucking ass off because you can't do that, because for whatever fucking reason, when Blizzard made Warcraft 3 Reforged, they made it so that you cannot play the original. You can only play Reforged. So you are forced to play the shit from when shit was bad.
That's amazing.
That shit's funny to me. But, sorry, you had something you wanted to say?
No, I completely forgot, honestly, because that point is just, like, amazing.
Also, yeah, it's probably not the best idea that I go, hey, play these Riot games, because, like, they've also done bad shit. But the point still remains that there are alternatives that you can play where you don't have to give Blizzard money. It's not like there's a shortage of good video games out there. Some even has this one thing I like to call good writing. You should try it. So, which leads me into a thing, because apparently, and I think you even brought this up to me, that you had been in a call with people who were very interested in hearing like my thoughts on this whole Blizzard thing.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people, like, I am known for being the guy who has a fucking hate boner for Blizzard, and I have had it for the longest fucking time. I made terms such as mentioning it. I have been using it as an example at countless occasions of talking about how bad writing can be and all this shit. The Warcraft movie, still the worst movie that I have ever seen in my entire life. Even worse than Birdemic or The Room, because at least I could laugh at those. Whereas in the Warcraft movie, I just wanted to die. So a lot of people ask me, what do you feel about this? And it's an interesting thing, because I made a tweet about it, being that, hi, yes, I would like my apology now for all the people who has gotten on my ass for hating Blizzard. Just because I've been beating this drum for so long doesn't mean, and you haven't heard it, doesn't mean I haven't been beating it. So I would be lying if I said I haven't been sat here being awfully smug. I have been smirking from ear to ear, being like, yes, welcome over to my side. I have prepared rotten tomatoes that we can fling at Blizzard. Come join. But truth of the matter is, I don't want any the easy solution, the easy consequence that people have been mentioning is that, we want Blizzard to be shut down. I don't necessarily want that as much as I dislike Blizzard. Blizzard has meant a whole lot to a whole lot of people. There's definitely some sentimental value in the video games. Plus, we cannot get around the fact that a lot of people who have not done anything wrong are working at these companies, because Blizzard Activision is fucking massive. So obviously I don't want that to be shut down, and then these people to lose their jobs. Obviously I do not want that to happen. There are some very talented, some very passionate, some very creative people on this team. Not the writing team can fuck off, but there are a lot of people on at Blizzard who are very, very talented and very passionate, and they should absolutely not be lose anything due to what they have already been through. The problem is that when it comes to these sorts of things, these people do get hit in the crossfire. In the perfect world, not the perfect world, but in an extreme world where the law went, hey, Activision Blizzard, you're so fucked up that you have to hand me the keys for your studio because you're going bye-bye. If that was ever to happen, that would not fucking be terrible, because again, a lot of people would lose their job. But again, no matter what, these people are going to get caught in the crossfire, and I am in no, even though I'm sat here smug as a bug on a rock, I am not like that. That's not what I want. These people have done nothing to deserve any ire or scorn or anything. They do not deserve anything bad that's coming their way. So even though that I am laughing all the way, like dancing around in a circle, pissing on a picture of Chris Metzen, that is on those people, not all these other people. So that's my stance, is that I want all the worst to happen to Blizzard, but nothing to happen to the people who are innocent. The problem is that's probably not going to happen.
Like, it's one of those things that I hate about, like, the American court system. When you literally have enough money, you can actually just buy the sentence and get a slap on the wrist. It's just a fact of this country. You can buy a get out of jail free card. Like, a lot of the people who are honestly gonna be the ones who are gonna be like, I keep fumbling over my words. I need to get better at that. But it's like when you have people in this situation, the ones at the top who are actually really the ones at fault, they're gonna be the ones who are gonna like be passing on the punishment to everyone down below them, and they're like probably gonna get off more scot-free than we'd want them to. They're gonna have either, if they'll probably leave Blizzard and go to some other company, and then the shit will just keep going. It's because like people like this aren't being held accountable, and it's really sad too. Because like if Blizzard goes down, and like fucking the people who are like molesting people and were responsible for passing around these fucking photos of this woman end up still having jobs in the industry, or they still end up getting like boatloads of money, or can retire on a beach in Panama for all I fucking know. Mm-hmm. Then it's like, what was the point of the closure in the first place? All you're doing is like punishing the people who were actually working, doing the grunt work at the bottom, making all these games, and punishing the people who genuinely enjoyed them. Quality, or like whether you like the games or not, whether you like the writing or not, like that's irrelevant in this issue. But if it's like gone, and like fucking those people get off scot-free without any real like damages, then we just lose here at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, even if you fucking hate Blizzard, or even if you want to, or you love Blizzard, I think it's pertinent for both sides to be like, fuck these people in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can like or hate the story, but like fucking hate these people making it, bro.
Yeah. I saw someone mentioning it on Twitter, and it was like it was so fun because of how I could actually see it be a thing where someone. So I think the CEO of Blizzard Activision is called Bobby something, and so like the tweet was, Bobby obtains a $200 million bonus for writing "Hey, rape's bad" on Twitter. Like that's where I could totally see this going, in that like the person who has done nothing for the people who have done nothing for all this shit are gonna say something like, "Oh no, this is bad," and then they're gonna get rewarded for it in some shape or form. I don't fucking know. The chat is asking like, what would the proper punishment for this be? In the perfect world, it would be that every person who has turned a blind eye to all this shit gets like, I don't know, a severe fine or whatever, and everyone who has taken part of all this sexual shit just straight up just kick them out of the company and then hire someone new. There's enough like. I have talked up about how there's some passionate and creative people in there, but I'm not gonna I'm gonna be cynical and say they are not people who cannot be replaced. Mm-hmm. You can absolutely get someone who can do a better job than these people. So like but that's probably not gonna happen, because you will have to have like evidence on every single person in this company. And be like able to like go, this person did this. Otherwise, you will have to just go, no, everyone on nothing, or well, a group of people on nothing.
Uh-huh.
So the best thing that can happen is that people remember this. People like that, and fortunately, Blizzard's been fucking shitting the bed. like a lot lately. There was the Blitzchung thing, and then there was everything that we talked about in the second podcast about how the writing is dying, the video games, like the games they're putting out are shitty, yada yada yada.
The main reason was because like they were taking away tools for people to create their own communities and just wanted to force people into a single story.
Yeah, so like luckily it has become incredibly easy to hate Blizzard, and so the best thing that can happen is that people do not forget, they do not forgive. They let this shit rock. Once they have it's obviously a very personal thing. When you think that they have done enough to make up for the heinous shit that they've been doing, then it is up to you whether or not you want to forgive them or anything. And that level is gonna change from person to person. I just hope that there is enough people who will not just go, oh, they made another interesting trailer where they fucking boosted the bass way too much that they always do in the trailer, but the high bass really tickles that fucking endorphin part of my brain, so I got excited. Huh? Sexual allegations where? Who? I don't remember that. Give me the fucking marginalized character with the fat ass or whatever. Like, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that, like, I was, what was it? When they had, like, the fucking, BlizzCon after the whole Blitzchung thing happened.
Yeah.
That's where my cynicism really grew. Because there were so many people who were up in arms. They were like, fuck Blizzard. Fuck them hard. Fuck them with a rake. Fuck them purple. And then they put out a trailer for Overwatch 2, which, if you honestly believe they didn't do that as a knee-jerk reaction to save people, then you're fucking delusional. Yeah. But they put out this trailer, and all of a sudden, everything is forgotten, everything is forgiven, we're moving on like nothing ever happened. And that fucking infuriated me.
I was sad nobody wore a Winnie the Pooh costume.
Yeah. There was one person who came up and was like the open mic thing where they could ask questions at the Q&A or something, who said like, I don't fucking know, like the Liberty to Hong Kong or whatever the fuck it was. I don't recall what it was actually. Yeah. There was one person, and for all intents and purposes, to Blizzard's credit, they did handle it pretty well with going, yeah, you're right. But I want to personally see more from people. I want to see people not letting this one go, because this is a big one. This is massive.
It's some shit, man. It's some really fucked up shit.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the higher up should be held accountable if this shit doesn't stop. Like, if the company themselves don't sort this out and get rid of the problem people, then the higher ups who had that power and didn't do anything are the ones that get punished, jail time or whatever, serious jail time too. Like, you could give them a time frame of which you have this long to fix it, and we're gonna be doing investigations doing that, and if we find out that there's still sexual misconduct, then you're gonna go away for a long time. But ultimately, I do not think that's gonna happen, because that is a lot of money, time, and resources that people then suddenly have to spend, and again, it all comes down to money.
No, that's absolutely it at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
someone mentioned if a fine only hurts people who can't pay for it, then the law only applies to people who don't have money.
Yeah, exactly.
So punishments and things, they have to be something either worth more than money or worth something completely different. And it's got to be if their names are anywhere near a project, that project has to fail, no matter how good it actually ends up being.
I'm just fucking like surprised that we're giving like Bobby, whoever the fuck his name is, a pass, because apparently that dude is in fucking Epstein's book. Like, how much more proof do you need to just cut these people out of your fucking life?
Yeah, the stocks are in free fall.
I actually read that the drop that we saw in the stocks is very like not as massive as people like to think it is. Like it's gonna make a dip and then it's gonna go back up again. So yeah, we'll have to see. Like this, yeah, it's already stable. There you go. Yeah. So
Wenchwaring's a good point. It's like, while there is fuck all we can do, the best we can do is like, not engaging with them, but like, the ideal scenario, the pie in the sky dream, assuming that fucking, like, I know we're just talking shit out our ass to like 11 people because we don't have that kind of reach yet. But like, the best thing to happen would be if like if they didn't pay a fine and they served actual jail time.
Yeah.
Like, more than just lose their jobs, they actually are put into a fucking like slight like sentence, even if it's in confinement. Like, even if it's for like a little bit, because bad shit happens in prison. It's legal slavery. It's in the fucking Constitution. That's what the prison system is in America, and I don't think anyone can like deny that. But it's like, you put them fucking in there, and they experience that kind of horrendous shit. Even if it's for a little, as long as their money can't bail them out of it, that would be a win. In my opinion.
Make Jay Allen share a cell with Big Kevin, who owns a shiv, and just like let nature take its course. I don't know.
It's like, honestly, like, realistically the best thing, like, what, like, the quote unquote best would be if Blizzard and Activision did fall. As much as it's gonna like be horrible to everyone else, it's like, if the higher ups are not gonna serve jail time, then the best we can do is like a speed bump on their career and like tank that and force them to put their effort into like building up something else or like coasting on the money they've got.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just be right now. America is a corrupt ass fucking country. Yeah. And it is made for situations like these where you can have like, okay, I'm getting my political side is showing, so I'm gonna like tone it down a bit.
Hey, but the podcast is free for that. Like, this is where we talk about everything.
Yeah, I know, but like I usually like to take the centrist point, but now I'm just showing my fucking blue liberal side. This is Massachusetts talking, but like, ever since the last presidency, you can get away with saying and pull up for anything, and you can kind of like, people will forget, people will move on. Like, I always hated the 1982 talk about like Trump and how fucking fake news and shit, because I thought that shit was irritating, and I still think a lot of it is overblown personally, but because it's like that with every fucking president. But it's more like apparent now more than ever that like you can survive any bad press. Like, bad press is not a death sentence. It would be for like you or me. Like, cancel culture would kill smaller people like us. Yeah. But when it comes to like people who actually deserve it, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they can always like, because all they have to do is just like go quiet for like a couple months, and then like their supporters or diehard fans are gonna like stir up some narrative or like fight everyone else until everyone gets sick of hearing it, and then they stop, and then people stop talking about it, it moves on, they come back, and like while this is all going on in the foreground, they're in the back making deals, like sipping margaritas on a fucking yacht somewhere in the Pacific, and they're just like, hey man, like I need to lay low for the heat. You want to put me in a so-and-so company? Yeah, sure, here, come on. And then you just like shake hands, spend money. And that's just how it goes. That's how it works in America. That's just how it always fucking is.
In the land of the free.
Like I said, we still have legal slavery. It's in the Constitution. Like, what was it? Like the 13th Amendment. It was either the 12th or 13th Amendment. I don't fucking care. But it's like, no man can be considered a slave unless... I'm actually going to look it up real quick. I think it's the 13th Amendment.
There's something about like, hey, no, slavery is bad. ... Unless...
Okay, so Section 1 of the Constitution of the United States of America, just so you can hear this from the word of the Holy
Founding
Bible
Fathers.
of America. Yeah. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction. That's Section 1.
It's funny how people are so like strongly against. Dude, I'm not gay, but
I'm not gay.
and
$20 is $20.
$20 is $20, and now it's just like, yeah, slavery is bad, but like that's fine.
That's basically how it works. Funny thing is, like, having a company that sexually harasses women means jack shit in a country like USA, but if Blizzard leaked data to China or Russia, off with the head. I still think that was off the head, because that's like that, like, because Americans are, like, hyper-patriotic, and it's like, selling out to the fucking Reds, I don't care how much money you're fucking giving. Oh, God, Here's my own patriotism showing. You guys are selling out for overseas money. I don't care how much it is. You're giving shit to China. But like, and you call yourselves a fucking American company. How fucking dare are you allowed to have this patriotism and then go back on your word? While at the same time, how the hell do you stand for women while you fucking sexually harass them? How the fuck dare do you say you're like supporting LGBTQ and you're like harassing them and not even letting them, like, you have a token character that is just that, a fucking flag, and you don't give them any fucking prior like involvement than that. It's all this shallow, hypocritical nonsense in this country that is just infuriating to sit in. And oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
No. I still love the whole thing that. So a few weeks, maybe a month or so ago, they put out a thing, like a big post, where Blizzard, who wrote. At Blizzard, we are very, very, like, our main goal is to make connections, to share our passions of video games with one another, to share our best memories, our stories, our legacy, yada yada, like just long ass tome of text, and then like it all boils down to. So, and that is why we have now made it so that you can communicate with anyone. No, if you are on an American server, you can chat with the dude on the Danish server. If you are like a Spanish server, you can talk with this person. You can communicate all across the globe because we believe so much in the sharing of information and ideals and personalities. Mm-hmm. And then at the bottom it says, except for China. Like this feature does not like you cannot talk with China, and it's just like. What the fuck?
I mean, it makes sense because like China itself wouldn't allow it. That's just how it works. But it's like at the same time, not a good look.
It's just so funny that like we have these grandstanding ideals, and we will like neither heaven nor hell is gonna get in my way to make it so that we can share these ideals with everyone. Oh no, Daddy, China is angry with us. Okay, never mind. Integrity is for sale, exactly. I also think, like, okay, now my political views are gonna show a little bit. I fucking hated how, like, doing the whole Blitzchung thing, they made, like, a whole thing about, listen, Blizzard is not, like, you're not supposed to, like, we don't share our personal political views or anything. We are, like, video games should be free from any sort of politics. It should just be about fun and more than anything. And, like, you know, that statement is whatever. Yeah. But then why and again, I have nothing against this personally. It's just the contradiction that I'm opposed. But then why are you jamming LGBTQ stuff into, like, down my throat in every fucking game I'm playing? I am glad that you're promoting LGBTQ stuff. I think it's great. More the power to you. But you cannot do that and then go, no, we don't want to have anything to do with politics. That right there, that's politics.
I'd rather they own up to it and be like, "Hey, we stand by this," and just not explain any further.
Yeah.
Like, again, I want to stress, I am not a fan nor a hater of Blizzard. I am so far removed from this conversation. It's just, while, like, I genuinely understand and I do my best to, like, empathize with the lack of representation, because that is a serious fucking problem.
Yeah.
It always rubbed me the wrong way when it came to things that would, like, use you as, like, a scapegoat or, like, a shield. Like, scapegoat's not, like, the proper term, but it's like they're throwing this out there. You're only getting representation in a non-genuine way. You're getting all these characters, like, supposedly, like, there could have, like, here's the sad part. There could have been, like, so much genuine love put into these characters who are actually gay, who have all these things that, like, you know, that were made by people who actually cared about, who actually gave a shit about, like, the franchise, who actually gave a shit about these characters, who wanted them to be gay and have them a very good, interesting story. That could be totally genuine by the hand of the creator. What I'm saying is, like, there's the way things are being, like, announced and, like, propagated. It's like they're using that as, like, a smokescreen to cover the tracks. They're using that idea for that character probably only got greenlit because of the shit that was happening.
Yeah, like, it's brownie points. It's not like it's not that the character was, like, I don't believe for a second that it was, like, always in the cards that this character was gonna be gay or whatever. It's just like, oh fuck, we need some brownie points. I could
honestly genuinely believe that in some cases, because I do believe, especially nowadays, there's a lot more people in the LGBTQ, like, going in and sinking their way in and, like, forcing their characters to be that. Well, not forcing's not a bad word, but it's like they have the freedom to, like, have their characters be like that nowadays. That's that, like, I always want to give the benefit of the doubt to, like, the grunts at the bottom doing this. I just hate whenever it's like when it's like a company mandate, or when it's, like, used as, like, a advertisement piece. Yeah. When it's like sold as an advertisement, because what separates that from being queer bait at that point? I had this talk with somebody in the Webcast Relief where, like, we were talking about, like, a ship that happened in, like, Ruby, and I'm trying to make this. I'll make this as I promise. But it's like the reason that ship happened is, like, yeah, it's good for representation, but it kind of has to be done because Rooster Teeth constantly were guilty of queer baiting that whole fucking thing, where it's like that, like, hey, they might get together, look, it might be lesbian representation, and they were, like, holding people on that sticks for so long. And my question is, like, all these people coming in, how is this representation, and how is this not queer bait?
I remember. Go on.
No, like, that's probably not a question you or I can answer, but it's like, it's kind of the feelings are the same, you know?
Yeah, it's like there was a point, and I remember, like, I went on a fucking tirade on Twitter when this happened, because at the time, believe it or not, I used to be very much into Overwatch. Well, okay. It's one of those things where I like to. Even you and I played Overwatch at one point. It was a long time ago, but you and I really used to play it, and we played with Team Riiser and all that shit.
That shit was hilarious. I got launched into the fucking stratosphere.
Yeah, like way back then, like we enjoyed playing the video game. We obviously played it casual, but you know, I enjoyed all the fan art and animations and all this shit that was being made about the game. I liked everything about the game except the actual game. But I remember I got really angry about it because I don't recall what Blizzard had gotten themselves into, but they had gotten themselves into some trouble. And so they made this whole thing about like, we are going to announce like this Christmas comic or whatever about Overwatch. And we are going to announce who among the Overwatch cast is gay. Like, it was such, like, there was a fucking countdown for this comic to come out. They were so fucking, we're gonna have a gay character in our comic. In our game, we're gonna have a fucking gay character. You don't even fucking get it, bro. We're gonna have a fucking gay character. And so it turns out that the gay character in question was Tracer. Yeah. And it's like one of those things where it's like, okay,
it was a really cute comic.
Yeah,
I thought it was. Yeah.
I don't think Tracer's girlfriend showed up again ever. Like,
she didn't show up in China, period.
Yeah, like it like it was such like it did nothing. Like it added nothing. It did nothing. Nothing was changed. The status quo was like it. Like at one point, I do appreciate like the whole part of, you know, nothing changing, because I am of the opinion that you being gay is like natural. Like, yeah. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change what you can do or anything. You just happen to like the same gender or whatever. And I think that is fucking cool. So the fact that nothing changed is in and of itself, it's fine, because I don't want it to be like that she suddenly, when she's teleporting, like a rainbow flag shoots out of her ass or anything like that. But it was more the whole thing of like, they made such a fucking big deal out of this, and nothing like came out of it. Like, they knew they played their audience like a fiddle, I guess, is like where I'm having the issue again, because like it was just to appeal to a demographic that is never really appealed to, and it's such a like it's for brownie points, like we said, and I just think it's so disingenuous. Mm-hmm. Like I actually had a talk with Nana and Ruby from the Webcast Relief Discord about like, do you not feel like insulted when like you're used as almost like a puppet to just make the bad publicity go away? And I was really saddened to hear like the response, which was kinda, but if that's what it takes for us to be like represented in media, then I guess that's what we have to take. And that's like that's just sad. Like, imagine if your entire like if you could never be represented in a game unless it was like as a publicity stunt. Yeah. That fucking like that must be fucking terrible. But that just makes me hate it even more. Like that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. I can't speak any, like, I am a person of color, and I hate that fucking term so much for my own personal reasons. But like,
you don't like being a Latinx?
I will fly over to Denmark and like stab you in the left nut, Lasse. I will make a shiv out of an airplane wing. I swear to Christ. But no, like I can empathize to his sense because there's just you're not gonna see a lot of Hispanic people. Like, I got fucking psyched for Miles Morales because he's half Puerto Rican. I'm half Puerto Rican. And I'm like, yo, that's my fucking boy. And like, I love his fucking character arc. And like, even if you don't even have to be black or Puerto Rican to like know how the fucking, to fucking love the guy. But it's like, it's nice to have. It's really amazing to get it. And there's like tons of people who just don't get that fucking representation, and it's fucking AIDS, man. And like, to be starved of it, and for it to be like the only, if you're only being fed table scraps, that is fucking awful. It is disgusting, and it's terrible. Like, representation shouldn't be a whole fucking thing, and I mean that in like the most sincere way possible, as in like, it shouldn't be a big deal to have a gay person, a trans person, a black person, a Puerto Rican person,
it should be the most natural thing in the world.
Yeah, you should just have a person be there, wearing doing whatever, be whatever color they want, and it not fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, to lose your mind over it shouldn't be a big fucking deal. It should be the most mundane thing in the world. And the fact that it's not is disgusting in my opinion. Like, it should be like, everyone should be allowed to be fucking gay. Everyone should have a trans character. It shouldn't be a big deal. But the fact that it is, and people are using it as like a shield, and people are just like taking all these concepts and just making a weird disingenuous... It's the disingenuous part of it that just irks me in the worst way possible. It's like, I would feel so much better if a character's black, and because like, hey, I just thought they would be black. I don't give a shit. Yeah. That's way more interesting of a character for me, because it lets me enjoy the fucking story, it lets me enjoy the fucking game. Because then to be like, oh no, we totally made this black trans male who's also gay in this as a hero in Overwatch, because oh look at that, we were actually sending news of this one woman over there, so let's put her character into this now.
Yeah.
It's insane. It is awful. It is. I can feel and understand the plight, and I don't want to speak for people because like there are people who just don't have that representation and are like in a worse position than I could ever be in, who are fucking feel so that feeling of like helplessness and feeling of being invisible to everybody, and if you're seen, you're ostracized. It is some kind of horrible psychological thing, and you have these people preying on that, who are doing all these awful things and like doing the lowest amount of effort to just get away from the issue. It is pain and disgusting, and it's just infuriating.
I think like of you and I think like I'm probably the person who knows the least about like not being represented, because like I'm a white straight man. Obviously 9 times out of 10 shit is like catered to me. So like I'm obviously like, and with everything I've said up to now, I'm just talking completely out of my ass. It is like I can imagine what you got, like a marginalized group is going through, but ultimately I have not experienced it, so I can't probably say. But I would also like to bring up like what the chat said, that they made such a big deal out of Tracy being gay in that comic, and so if that was indeed Blizzard who took a grandstand and be like, dude, love is love, be gay, queer, whatever, just love is love, and we support that, then I would have no issue.
Yeah.
But they removed the part where she was. But they removed the part where she was gay when they published this thing in China. Like then it just becomes then it becomes like the equivalent of going to like a fucking a group of people and just kind of like mumbling under your breath, like love is love. Like it means nothing. Like either you have to stand so you don't fucking just like, hey, what do you guys want to hear? Oh, fuck hate? Yeah, fuck hate. What do you guys want to hear? White power? Sure. What, huh? Like, like it don't, like, it is so disingenuous. And I think, like, you put it so, I want to say eloquent, but I don't know if that's the right word to use. You put it well earlier when you said that people are preying on it.
Yeah.
But I also do wanna circle back on the whole like sexual thing with Blizzard, unless you have something else to add about this whole marginalized people thing.
That was basically my piece. Listen, I'm Puerto Rican, half El Salvadorian. Like, my issues are different from other people. Like, the way I interact with racism is completely different from everyone else, because that's just the environment I grew up in. But it's like, it's hard to speak when you don't know the struggles. But sometimes when you don't know the struggles, you also are in a better position to speak to begin with. It's this weird balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, continue.
So, like, about the whole Blizzard thing, because a lot of people, like, the thing that kept repeating in the responses by Blizzard was that, oh, you should just contact HR. Remember how I brought up before that I was going to circle back into me, like, working at that company?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to work at nondescript video game retailer.
Yeah.
And I, at one point, had an issue with my boss. He was actually very much the deciding factor of why I decided to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I could do, like, the smallest little error. Teeny tiny, like, you wouldn't even, like, it would be, like, one of those things where the company wouldn't even, like, lose a penny or anything. It would just be like, oh, you didn't probably dust the corner here. So, like, minor teeny tiny things, and he would fly off the fucking handle. I remember there was a point where we had to go to a meeting. It was my first meeting ever, and we were going to Sweden for this meeting. And I was nervous as fuck, because, you know, first time going to a meeting out of a country. I don't know any of these people. I had to wear a suit. It was first time I had to wear a suit. And I'm, like, coming as a manager. Like, what the fuck? And my boss calls me and it's like, hey, where the fuck are you guys? And he calls me. I'm traveling with like 5 other people from the same part of Denmark where we were traveling from, who are all experienced with this. Like, they have done this often. And then he like calls me and I'm like, yeah, we're just picking up our luggage from the airport. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? You shouldn't, like, I told you 1 billion fucking times not to bring your fucking luggage. Oh my god, if you're not here in 5 minutes, you don't even have to fucking show up. Fuck you. Like, just really screaming. I was, like, fucking panicking. I was feeling nauseous and everything because, like, oh my god, am I about to fuck up this yearly meeting on my very first go? Did I fuck up? And I'm, like, telling all the other men, just like, hey, like, we were not supposed to bring luggage. And they're like, but we are staying here for a week. Did he expect us to just wear the same fucking clothes for a week? Like, so it was one of those things where he was just fucking unhinged at that point.
Yeah.
So, and this would be like a constant occurrence. And so it would be like every time I had to call him, I felt like sick. I was like because, like, I was so fucking nervous of just having this dude scream at me. And again, but, like, because he's my manager, I can't just scream back. So I was like, just very, very worried about, like, talking in the phone with this dude, to the point where it's still to this day I hate talking over the phone with someone, just because of, like, the experiences I've had. So eventually, the fucking what do you call it? Like, the person who it's a person that every company has, at least in Denmark, who travels between, like, the different stores or departments and makes sure that everything is above board. Like, hey, are you okay? are you being mistreated in any way? So he drives by, and I figured, fuck it, let's do something about this. Hey, yeah, my boss, cunt. Can we do something about this? And he's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, what did he do? And I just give him like a fucking laundry list of like everything that's been going on. And he's like, yeah, okay, we need to fucking deal with this ASAP. I'm gonna get you in a call next week with HR. Okay? Mm-hmm. So next week comes, and I have a call with HR. And she's like, oh yeah, are you alone in the store? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, lock up the store because we need to, just focus on this. And I'm like, okay, this is boding well. Like, she legit wants me to speak uninterrupted and like hear my side of the story. And so I tell her about all of this and how it can't be right that I have to be like screamed at like this. And there was also the whole I lost my train of thought. So I have this talk with her, and she goes, yeah, but have you considered that maybe you did fuck up? Pardon? Yeah, like I've known this guy, like your boss, for so many years, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would fly off the handle for no reason at all. So are you sure that it's not because that you're just doing your job poorly? Like, obviously not phrasing it like that, but just really dude, it's your fault. That, like, why did you get your ass kicked? Because you walked out? Like, it was basically that. And so, I got nothing out of that conversation. The only thing I got out of that conversation was that, like, I felt bad. I felt like I was being told that I was the fucking problem. But the thing was that to do anything about this, like, normally you can file a complaint where you do it anonymously, but to go further with this, like, so it wouldn't just be like a complaint, but actually a topic for like discussion, I would have to revoke like the whole thing about being anonymous. But it was I was assured that it was only going to be anonymous. Like I would stay anonymous outside of the call with HR. It was just basically so that they could knew who I was, so we could have that talk. But so what that means is that I was assured that my boss wasn't gonna hear that I had basically complained about him. He found out that,
of course,
that I had complained about him, and he continued to make my life a fucking living hell. Then he eventually got not fired, but he got demoted because of stress, and he ended up becoming like a store manager, like in the same line as me. And so I got new managers, new bosses, and all these people were fucking great. They were amazing people, and I really enjoyed working under them because, like, I felt like that was the time I enjoyed my work the most. I had people to talk to. We could joke around. Sure enough, they would set me straight if I did something wrong, but ultimately it wasn't going to be like a fucking punch in the face. Then eventually, my old boss became my boss again. And it was so well known that me and him had beef that the boss that I had that I had just had before my old boss came back was like calling me out, going, "Lasse, are you okay? Because he's going to be your boss again. I've done everything I can to make sure that I got to keep your store, so you didn't have to work under him again. But ultimately, it wasn't my decision." I'm like, I guess we'll just have to see. And my boss comes back, and he's actually very nice. He's friendly, he's patient, and we're joking around. And it's like, you know what? Maybe he was just high-strung when he was working there, like before he got demoted. So maybe now he's learned, and we are finally like doing something. Okay. And then some time passes, and the old boss, like his personality comes back, and he's yelling and screaming and kicking up a storm. But this time, not just for me, but for everyone in his district. This dude managed 12 stores. We ended up having 11 of us complained and went to a meeting to complain about this dude. We all filed like a complaint to the head office, to HR, and they were like, okay, we need to talk about this. We're gonna invite all of you who has an issue with this guy, and then we're gonna have a meeting with you at this location, and then we're gonna talk about it. So 10 of us goes because one of them could not find anyone to manage the store while he was gone. And again, head of HR is there, and my boss's boss, who by the way is best friends with this guy, are basically just going, yeah, but did you consider that you are all fucking losers? Like, again, putting it on us, and we're being assured that nothing is gonna that this isn't gonna continue. We're gonna have a stern talking with him, and then everything is just gonna be fucking peachy. Spoiler alert: everything was not fucking peachy, because again, the boss had to be told who attended this meeting. I did not know this, but somewhere down the line, we resigned the right to be anonymous. And of course,
that's a lie.
What?
I think that's a lie. I think they just gave away your. They just leaked it and said you gave it away.
Yeah,
that's some
probably.
bullshit.
And so obviously, shit hit the fan again, because now we were the people who had dared to speak out. So I don't know if you recall, but when I moved from the city I used to live in, like when I had resigned my boss as a manager, I had talked with the people. At the time there was 3 stores in the city that I live in of this company, and I had talked with them, being like, hey, do you need any part-timers? And they were basically fucking fighting for me. They wanted me to work there so bad because, hey, we get a manager who works as a part-timer. Who wouldn't want that? And also, they just loved me. We were tight. So I had lined up like part-time work here, so that I could, pay for rent and all that shit. And I've been promised this position and everything. And then the day off where I was, that I came to write my sign my contract, old boss is there, and he's telling me, yeah, we're not gonna hire you. They had the contract printed. It came from the head office. It was right there. All I had to do was sign it, and he's just going, yeah, no. And I have been told in uncertain terms that not by him, but heard it through the grapevine, that it was a retaliation because I was the guy who always who always spoke his mind when he got stepped on, and they didn't want. I rocked the boat too much, and they did not want that. I went online to talk about this, and I'm now going to explain why I always address this company as unnamed company number 1 or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And that is because I told this story on my social media. Not social media. I made a Twitch stream about it, but because people were like, "Where have you been?" Because there was this long period of time where I didn't make content. So I went on stream and I just basically told this entire story about how I had been promised a job and how that got ripped away, and I was so sad and I was depressed because it was my entire livelihood just suddenly dropped on the floor. And then some time passes, and I get a call from someone who used to work there, who had friends who worked there. So it was like from a friend, mm-hmm. And who told me that, did you recently talk about your experience? I'm like, yeah, you need to go and you need to fucking delete that VOD, because apparently they are looking at all of your socials to make sure that you keep their name out of your mouth, because you still have a month's pay waiting from them, and they are currently trying to to find out if you are like talking shit, so they can make sure that you don't get this money. And I was like talking with my union about this, and they were like, yeah, that's fucking illegal. But I didn't want like at the time, because like they were holding the money I needed now to pay rent. They were basically holding that hostage. So all that. So I was not going to fucking like go through like a legal battle, because I was panicking enough with all of this shit going on. So when I hear, after all this is said and done, when I hear that the Blizzard goes, you could just talk to HR.
That's bullshit.
Fuck you. I have tried going to HR with something that doesn't even begin to compare in severity of what some of the people at Blizzard has gone through. And I got fucked ultra giga hard to the point where I'm never mentioning this company's name in public. Like, again, out of fear that they're going to fucking like come at me.
And you're a straight white man.
And I'm a straight white man. Imagine if I was a woman or like part of the LGBTQ or anything like that. Like, I would be fucking like, Jesus fucking Christ. So, like, HR is supposed to be there for the human resources. That's why it's called that. But it is definitely there to protect the company. And so when you go, no, you could just talk with HR, you clearly do not know how your HR operates, or you do not care.
Like, I don't know about how the HR works in Denmark, because nondescript company, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. But, like, I know...
They're very American.
I was trying to help protect your identity there, but okay. But, like... It's fine, but it's a very American. I was going to say it sounds very American, because that's a thing that happens. There's like an interconnected web of like people. It's not just the higher ups. It's like this little like oligarchy of people going around protecting each other, and it's not just in a single company. It's people all over these companies. You go to meetings to network and get more people to like cover your back. That example I was talking about, where you have people on a yacht like talking and sipping margaritas in the Pacific Ocean, is just more examples of networking. You're just getting more people on your side, so if any fuck shit happens, they've got your back, because they have the money and resources, all this hoarding shit. It makes sense why they had to keep this happening like 2 years in advance, because what I imagined is they didn't even bother to go to the HR, because they knew they would have to deal with the shit you were dealing with. Yeah. So they probably either hired an investigator or give the tip off to somebody as far removed from the company as possible to get this done, and probably like put it like, hey, if you can bust this, you can get a lot of money out of this, because that's how you get shit done in America. And it's just you get them to do this. They have to go undercover or whatever the fuck they had to do for 2 years for this shit to come out. There's no way you could have gone through HR. You can't get changed like that, because the cards are stacked against you. It's like that in every fucking industry, not just fucking tech. It is anywhere you want to go. It's got, like, for one reason or another, it's all about nepotism. It's gonna you're getting this job either because they need the money, or the person they wanted to have for real is just not available at the moment. But like the sooner you go, you're done. It is fucked, for no other better way to say it. So when you have people it sucks too, because HR is that position that is like the only real defense you have, and it's a gun pointed at you anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't know that.
I will say that from what I have heard, this is not like that common of an issue in Denmark. And again, like what you said, that the non-descriptive company, it does sound very American, and I think like that is just like very much of an American thing. I don't know, but again, I can only just say that what I've heard is that that HR fucks you in this way is not that common in Denmark. But even still, I can still absolutely understand that this has probably been like the issues that Blizzard had has probably been raised to HR, but nothing was done about it.
I can almost guarantee that is the case.
So yeah, that was just my little story about what my experience with an American-inspired HR has been. And on that note, I think that we are about ready to answer some questions, unless you have something that you want to add, Cloudy.
I wanted to talk about something else because I did promise somebody in the call yesterday that I mentioned them. So we were talking about DR and about he's a really cool guy. He knows a lot about paleontology and like we were talking a lot about like I keep forgetting this word, speculative anatomy of like mythical creatures, and it's like fascinating to me. Like I know we're shifting gears from like Blizzard to like Godzilla and shit, but like I just want to like have a little brevity, just like a little small chit chat before we do questions and end the podcast, just so this shit was heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, DR, he talks about speculative biology, and he mentions a lot of things that have to do with like really intricate magic systems, and like something I want to talk about with like this discussion on magic and like stories and stuff. When you really break it down, magic is something that like breaks the rules or like the natural laws of physics and society, and like it breaks the system. It is a force that is outside the system, and it's like a really crazy concept in my mind the way he explained it, because to define magic takes away the magic. So true magic is something that breaks those rules you're setting up as well. And I wanted to bring that up because like a lot of stories nowadays where you have like your basic science and then you have like the magic surrounding it to explain all these crazy magical effects, but then you can have it just be hand waved or you can have it be a very structured system. But the weird thing is, like, the more structured you make it, the less magical it becomes.
Yeah.
And it's really weird and brilliant to me. I want to bring this up because I want to have my little shit fist about Ruby, because they did this thing that the way he explained magic made it click for me why this element never worked. So I'm gonna give a little idea of what like Ruby is. So like in this world, there's like a bunch of different magic systems going around. You have like semblances and aura, which are kind of like the same thing. There's like it's like everyone's individual power. It's like everyone's born with like a special talent. They're like think quirks from Hero Academia. Then there's like dust, which is like, hey, you want to coat your weapons in like fire, you can fucking do that. And that in a way that's also fucking magic, because they have this, you can like mix dust together, get different effects. So already you have those things. But there was this thing that never made any fucking sense. So it's like, oh, this shit is magic. And it's never fucking explained how it's different from semblances or fucking dust. It's like, it's just magic. This happens. She can throw fire. It's like, oh, how the fuck's she doing that? And you don't immediately assume why is that not a semblance? And I'm like, it is like the best example of what magic actually is, because it's not explained. And at the same time, that's why it fails so horrendously.
Yeah, when everything else is.
Exactly.
When you have like an answer for everything, and then you introduce something where it's like, nah, just go with it. Then it's like, no, like you have primed me to ask questions.
Exactly. And it's weird, like the way, like again, like the way Dr. was explaining it last night. I had like a fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast when that happened, because it's just like, how do I explain this? Because this happens constantly in the Webcast Relief server. It's where people propose an idea that sounds fucking revolutionary on paper. Where, like, does this idea sound really cool? And on the onset, it sounds really fucking interesting. Because, like, this is, like, the like, inherently, like, definition of magic in like, a narrative form. And Ruby pulled it off, like, textbook by the letter. And then you see it, and it's like, it doesn't fucking work super hard. But you can see in your head all the ways to fix it. But it just doesn't. It's like, you don't have, like, it kind of like doubles down on like why execution is so fucking important.
Yeah.
Where no matter what story you're writing, what characters you're doing, what narrative you're trying to spin, and like, it's gotta have fucking weight to it. It's gotta have a meaning or purpose, or it just has to be done well. Even if it's just for showy shit. Because if you just throw something in there, it, like, breaks fucking everything. And again, like, I wanted to bring this up when things were still were, like, lighter. And it's, like, I kind of wanted to bring, and I promised Dr. was going to bring him up, but, like, I kind of forgot to at the beginning of the podcast, and we went to the Blizzard thing, and I'm like...
Oh, shit.
Bro,
how do we run it back?
Yeah, so, yeah... Oh god, like revealing the political mask of Cloudy, where his leanings are. Well, you could probably tell now. But it's
I definitely think that, like, I think it depends on the medium. I think there's definitely things where it's like, don't worry about it. Magic is magic. You can do whatever the fuck. And then there's things where it's like, I'm gonna fucking take you to town, and I'm gonna explain literally everything. And then because like then it becomes for example Naruto, in that they fucking explain fucking everything. Hey, if your hair is growing out in the left direction, then it means that your chakra is going that way, or something like they go through everything. But that makes it so that once you that once you see like a technique or something, then you like understand how, the feat it took to accomplish this, because you have an understanding of the system at play, and now you're seeing it being pulled to the nth degree. And then you have stuff such as the aforementioned Bleach, where it's just like, hey, soul power. What's that? It's the power of your soul. Shut the fuck up. How does it work? Well, like, like you get nothing, but it's not a comic that needs you to worry about that, because instead what you have to worry about is what do they do with it. And that's where you get like the bankais and all this shit, where it's like, oh, by doing this it creates this thing, and then it becomes like that thing versus this thing, kind of like JoJo or something with stand powers. Oh, pressure, my bad. Soul pressure.
Oh god.
So yeah, I definitely feel that there's like room for both. It just like, I don't think you can have both in the same thing.
Exactly. You either got to choose one way or the other, and then you got to do it well.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the best way to put it, honestly. If you want like magic systems, power systems, you want like, you either choose to explain everything, or you choose to explain nothing. And or like hell, even if you're doing nothing, you can like explain a few little things, but you always have that like air of mystery. Yeah. But you like can't have hyper explained and then have something super relevant and have no explanation whatsoever just because it's magic. Like, it's just fascinating to me how Ruby can look so cool on the surface, and you break it down, it falls apart.
Well,
it's like a fucking house of cards.
Well, real quick, I think we managed to sum up what the problem with Ruby was with one character, and I think his name was Adam. He's a dude with the mask and the sword. Because if you never watched Ruby, when they were leading into like the show, like trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
They had all the there was the four main chicks. You had Ruby, you had Weiss, you had Yang, and you had Blake. Yeah, and so each of these got like a little trailer where you just saw them fight, because this was a project that was spearheaded by Monty and that dude lived and breathed fight choreography. He was fucking good at it. And so he made this one with, is it the cat girl, is that Yang? I forget. No, that's Blake.
Yeah, cat girl is Blake.
Yeah. And you have one where she's on a train and she's fighting a bunch of dudes, and then she meets this one guy, and he's cool as shit. He's wearing a suit, he has like a visor on, like a fox mask thing, and he has a katana. He basically looks like Virgil. And he like gets into an EI stance, and he pulls a sword out, and like half of the train cart falls to pieces, and it's like, and him and Blake fight, and it's just cool. I don't even think the dude speaks in the trailer. He
doesn't speak in the trailer.
He does speak?
No, he does not. Nobody speaks in any of the trailers except for the Yang's yellow trailer, because that was the trailer where they actually got voice actors.
Okay, but seeing this, it was like, we know exactly who this dude in the suit is. He's the katana guy. He is the dude who sheaths his sword and pulls it out, and it goes so fast that you don't even register it. That's his entire character right there, because you don't need more, because this is ultimately about cool fights. And then the show happened, and for the first season, it is basically, there's a plot here, but who gives a fuck? Look at the fights. It was basically just an excuse for Monty to put his characters with cool powers and cool weapons to do cool shit. It was ruler cool made manifest. And then they bring Adam back, who is the dude with the sword, and I'll let you take over from here. What then happened?
Honestly, like, this first appearance, like, the first fight was not so bad. It was threatening. He mentioned he had some vendetta with the school. We didn't know his, like, weird relationship hang-ups with Blake yet. But, like, they were setting him up to be, like, this vindictive military leader. He was starting, like, a counter-revolution in the name of racism, but you can tell he's definitely unhinged. And, like, the White Fang is, like, its own can of worms, because of fucking... They bungled it so fucking horribly. But, like, the problem with Adam was, like, they built it up as he was supposed to be, like, this scion against racism. He is, like, this bastion of power, the defender of the weak. He's taking up arms against, like, the evil Schnee Corporation, because they, like, have slaves and, like, beast people all over the fucking place. And it's fucking insane to me. His entire arc revolves around Blake, because he's basically coded as, like, an abusive ex-boyfriend. And that's all it fucking is. He literally, like, you don't see this till he fucking dies in, like, season 6. But he has, like Weiss Schnee's last name, like, burned into his eyes because of an accident that happened when he went on a raid against, like, her family, like, trying to free slaves and get rid of attack, like, a convoy or some shit. He is, like, the embodiment for these people to protect them, and, like, he's supposed to be, like, fucking against the Schnees and against, like, all against racism entirely. And nothing he does, nothing he says, he's never even seen Weiss in the entirety of the show. He does not know that Blake is working with Weiss Schnee. He's like, for all the thing he's setting up, then he becomes, oh no, I'm just an abusive ex-boyfriend.
And so, like, with everything that Cloudy just said, if at any point you figured, wait, stop, Yamaro, you're just killing the character, you're making him shit, he sounded cool before. Exactly. That's what you and I reached, Cloudy, where it's like, Ruby was great when it was Bleach, when in that camp where it was like, shut up, it's fucking cool, and then it started explaining shit, and it just couldn't, and the more it explained, the more shit it became. Adam became more fleshed out, but the stuff that you got was fucking trash. He was way cooler when he was just basically Virgil.
Like, if he was just like Virgil but stayed evil the whole time, that would have been fine.
Yeah, if he spoke like once a red moon, and what he said was always like a zinger, fucking rad.
Like, that's all you had to do. Because at the same time, we had like a bunch of like katana ladies. Yang's mom, for example, who we get to see. Fucking Ozpin was like supposed to be this like, oh, there's a fucking sword in his staff. He's gonna do something cool. He's like, because he's based off the Wizard of fucking Oz, like hamstringing everybody, and it's like, you don't have to explain fucking everything. Ruby did this thing. I don't know if you know this, called World of Remnant, where if you wanted to know more, it was a side thing, but it wasn't necessary. Yeah. Like, they go into great detail about all this, and they didn't really cover anyone's backstories in that. It was just like, just straight world building. Stuff you can infer from the show. It's like, dust is used for this. People have aura. It's a magical force field to protect you. The White Fang, being an animal ear person sucks. That was it. That was the extent of the World of Remnant. And that only lasted for like the first couple seasons. And then, like, they start doing these weird plot threads, just, like, throwing it in, and it feels like, it kind of feels, it's what I was talking about, like, with the queer baiting stuff, because I always think back to Ruby, where it's like, they do a lot of promotional stuff with, like, Yang and Blake next to each other. They hint at the fact they may or may not be gay, but then they have Adam in here, who's her ex-boyfriend, so she has to be straight, and they have, like, they always, like, hold you by the string, and they keep ferrying you along. It's that thing where it has some of the most insulting representation I've ever seen. Because all the black people analogs are white animal people. And from the super mega racist white people country, you have literally the most lively and jovial people, whose one of them is black, who's named Flint Cole. It's like super tone deaf bullshit that's like, you're trying to make a point and you are fucking up so goddamn hard. Shit was way better when people just when it was just women hitting each other.
Yeah.
Be like Bob.
Yeah, be like Bob.
And that's basically what I wanted to bring up. It's just like, when you have like stories in fantasy and like power systems, sometimes there is such a thing as too much. You don't have to explain everything.
Yeah. Just
know what's important in your story. Because honestly, even the writing, as awful as it was in the beginning, I will still fight anyone who say it was better way in the beginning, because the story was bad. The story was not even there. But it was just like a vehicle to get you from one fight to the other, and that was honestly fine. And that's
what you were ultimately watching the show for. You're watching it for cool people with cool stuff, doing cool shit and cool fights.
Exactly, and like, you know what? I respect that they're trying to do this representation thing, but from what I've heard, because I've yet to see 7 and 8, and when I see 7 and 8, we're gonna have an entire podcast me just talking about Ruby.
I'll have to watch it too.
But it's like, you have this situation where like they have representation, and it's all fuck yous at the same time. The first gay character isn't even mentioned he's gay, and he dies in a fucking plane crash. The second gay character is a manipulative psycho, but she's a lesbian, so everyone forgives her. Supposedly in season 7, Crow Bronwyn gets like a supposedly gay lover, and he dies in the same season he's introduced. And supposedly the freedom fighter is fucking... I didn't even know this. Apparently she's supposed to be trans-coded. So they don't make it entirely clear that she is trans, but they do a lot of the same things to make you think that she is what I believe coded means. It's like the way she's presented. She's supposed to be a trans analog. And the main character compares her to Hitler.
Oh boy.
It is so awful. And, like, I'm not even going to touch the White Fang because it is just so fucking... It's literally just... The White Fang justifies racism in this show. That's what I'm just going to say right there. Because I can talk about this and, like, how poorly it's done. But I'm just going to say, like, from a writing standpoint, you would have done so much better if you just shut the fuck up. Legit. Oh,
Zing. But we will absolutely have a talk about Ruby in a later episode where we just talk about that because it's something that we both care about. I haven't brought it that much up in my shows, but I have the DVDs and stuff because I used to be a huge fan. Well, I still kind of am a huge fan of Rooster Teeth. So there's definitely a lot there to talk about. But yeah. That will be in the future. For now, we have some emails that were sent to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
That's webcastrelief@gmail.com. And these are songs I've been saving for a rainy day.
Okay.
Because this is my favorite. So, Riiser, I'm going to give you a simple question, and then we're going to go to the harder ones.
Okay.
First question from Caesar. All these are from Caesar, by the way. What is your favorite preferred intoxicant?
Alcohol?
Indeed.
I tried I've tried weed a few times, and I like to tell a story about like the first time I got high, because it was like we were playing. I was invited over to one of my at the time colleagues' place, and we were playing Rock Band Beatles, and I know it's very like taboo to say I don't like Beatles, and I think like the whole thing about like Rock Band and Guitar Hero is that like you're rocking out, like you're bobbing your body, you're swinging the guitar behind your back, like you're pretending that you're on stage and you're getting into it, and that's typically aided when you got like some hype music playing or something. And then you got fucking Beatles, and it's just like, she loves me, yeah, whatever the fuck. So they were passing around this blunt, and at the beginning I was like, I'm not gonna fucking touch that because drugs are bad. But then I was like, this is so fucking boring. This is so fucking boring. I need something to light up this party, and so I started like taking part of smoking the ganja. And that was fucking fun. And then, like, my sister used to work at a gas station. And when I was going home, I passed by this gas station because I had the munchies. And she's like, so we got all these sausages and pizzas and all this shit that we have at the counter that just needs to be thrown out. Do you want it? And I fucking start crying of pure joy. And so I bring that home drunk and high and just sitting in my room smiling from ear to ear, stuffing my face with junk food.
Man, you had a good trip, man.
Yeah. Then I tried it again one time where one of my friends had brought a blunt, and that was some fucking bad weed. I had headaches, I was shivering, I was ill as a mother. I was dying. It was terrible. And ever since then I've been like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay drunk.
Yeah. Oh my. I don't tend to get drunk. Not anymore anyway. I used to be a sad drunk, but now I just don't touch the stuff, period. But I do want to talk about my first time getting high. It's going to be short. I was at RIT at the time, which was like the first college I went to for like a computer science degree, and I go there, and I was like one of the people on one of the unlucky people got stuck in like a 4-person room, so like. You can imagine the logistics of why that fucking sucks. But like one day when I was just trying to study for one of my tests, there was like my roommates were smoking pot in the corner, and they offered me the hit of the blunt, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. This is my first time smoking weed or like smoking anything. Period. Fun fact about me: I have asthma, and everyone I told this story to, they told me that shouldn't happen because it's supposed to be good for asthma. But I take a hit of the blunt. My lungs close up and I have an asthma attack. And I have to be wheeled into the fucking ER. And I'm like, does that count as a bad trip?
Well, I'm not doing that again.
Yep, basically. It was like, hey, you know what? If you want to make me a pop brownie, I'll try it. Nothing gets a drug, but I ain't smoking ever again. Fuck it. You take whatever you want. That shit ain't for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the one question. And the last one. Riiser, I want you to think long and hard about this.
Oh boy.
It is an important question from Caesar. If you had to choose between being locked in a department store for a month or being locked in a room with your least favorite fictional character from a comic that you've reviewed, Bunny Dude from Latex Blue, Dobson's Avatar from Syac, whatever, for a day, what would you choose? There is nobody in the department store when you are there. There's no food, drinks, or alcohol present in scenario 2. What would you choose?
Well, I think I would just like take the department store, honestly. Like, I think like the sexy answer, the answer that a lot of people probably want to hear is that, oh, I want to be locked in the room with fucking Bunny Dude from Latex Blue so I could just kick his fucking ass. But honestly, like I'm like a thing that I have said before and will probably keep repeating in this podcast. Riiser is a person or a character, and I'm a person. So Lasse, I'm a very chill, relaxed kind of guy. I do not seek out conflict or cuss people out or anything. I leave that shit to Riiser. So if I'm like to be locked into somewhere, fucking put me in a department store and I'll just fucking live off of chips, crackers, and raw meat for a month. But if you ask Riiser, he will probably be asked to get locked into a room with fucking Andrew Dobson and kick his fucking ass.
Oh God bless. And that was my thing too, because it's like, well, Lasse, we've played D&D before. You know what happens when Corey's locked in a room with Moira.
Yep. I think Zach knows that better. He drew Magna like fucking beady-eyed, like, what the fuck?
She's like, I just wanted to sleep, bro. Why'd you have to do this to me, Captain? Oh God. But it's like, but honestly, like, I as a person, I'm like, why wouldn't I want to take the department store? Who, like, bro, you're basically saying, hey, do you wanna live in a month with free rent, free electricity, and free food that you don't have to pay for, and this entire space is big enough to make it your own personal, like, running track? Like, hello?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
The only problem will probably be like cooking your food, but I'm sure you can manage.
I'm like, if it's like a department store, like in America, I don't know how they would be. Like,
if it's an American fucking department store, then you can fucking live there forever.
Exactly, like Lasse, you were stuck in an American Walmart for a month.
Well, like, there's the fucking there's a story about the dude who lived in a fucking airport for years.
Like, you're basically just asking, you're just trying me at that point. It's like, oh, you're saying I can get free rent? Okay, let's go. It's easy mode.
But Claudia didn't even say where you had to stay. Who cares? Free rent.
Free rent. That's basically it. It's like, Claudia, you're going to a Kmart. Okay, take me to the Bart. And we've got like 2 questions left in the inbox, and I'm gonna save them for next time.
Okay.
Oh, this was a very long and charged podcast. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thank you all. I am. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, if you have any like questions, or even want to like pitch to like be on here and be interviewed by Lasse himself, just webcastrelief@gmail.com. Webcastrelief@gmail.com.
Right. I'm gonna fucking head out because I'm hungry as a motherfucker because it's like 7 p.m.
I'm gonna make myself something to eat myself to.
Sick. Thank you everyone for joining us at this podcast. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week.
Bye. Thanks for coming.